This video is made possible by Spencer Shipley at Packey Webb Ford in Downers Grove, Illinois. Spencer is dedicated to finding the right car for you in the quickest time possible. Give him a call or contact him with the information up on the screen or found in the description below.
Alright, what's up guys? My name is Zach and today I am driving a 2014 Mazda MX-5 Club. Up front is a 2.0 liter inline 4 and down below is a 6-speed automatic transmission. Now I am super excited to be driving this here Miata for a couple of reasons. First of all, I've only ever driven one NC Miata. This is the third generation of Miata known as the NC, and I've only driven a pre-facelift one, meaning it was a little bit different looking and there are a couple of changes here and there. This is a post-facelift. This is the second to last year of the NC Miata, and so I'm excited to share that with you. And it is also a Club, which is a more driver-oriented trim level for the MX-5. But before we get on with the rest of the video, if you are interested in helping out the channel, there are some links in the description below for some products that go towards helping the channel. There is a suction cup license plate from Con Plates. There is a fixed OBD2 Bluetooth sensor to help diagnose your car issues, and there is Cash for Cars that helps you sell your vehicle quickly. Again, if you'd like to help out the channel, please click the links in the description below. Let's get on with the video. So let's get back to that 2.0 liter inline 4 under the hood. Well, it's actually a Ford engine. It's technically from the Duratec family because Ford actually still owned a majority of Mazda at this point. Now that ended in 2015, but at this point they were still using Ford products. This engine makes 158 horsepower and 140 foot-pounds of torque. However, if you got the manual transmissioned MX-5 of the same year, you actually got 167 horsepower as opposed to 158. So that's a 9 horsepower jump just for switching to manual, and we're going to be talking about that a little bit later on. Like I said, paired to it is a 6-speed automatic transmission, and that is a big fault of this here NC Miata. Normally, I'm not super against automatic cars. Even automatic sports cars sometimes do have their place in history, but this, being a Miata, has to have a manual transmission. As we mentioned earlier, you actually get a 9 horsepower bump for switching to manual, and this is the Club trim level of the Miata. This is a more driver-oriented version, where there was like the Grand Touring, and that came with leather and heated seats and all this stuff. This is a more stripped down version. This is for the enthusiast that doesn't care about heated seats. They just want to have fun in the corners. And so I feel like being an enthusiast car, it should have that manual transmission, that manual input from the driver. But this, for some reason, has the automatic. If this were an upper tiered, more luxury, more comfortable based NC, like I said, with those heated seats, like I said, with that leather, with more of those creature comforts, then the automatic would be more at home. But this being a driver-oriented car, it's not quite the case. And so I wish it did have the manual in that respect. It is fun to drive, and when you do paddle shift, it actually is fairly responsive. It's not the worst thing in the world, but again, I want that satisfaction of throwing it into a gate. Last but not least, this here is rear-wheel drive, of course. So with that out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 5 gauges, much like older Miatas. On the far left, I have my fuel. Then I have my tachometer. In the center, I have my oil pressure. And on the right, I have my speedometer and my coolant temperature. I do also get a little digital readout, very traditional of Mazda from this era, a red digital readout. Reminds me of the old Speed 6s from the mid-2000s. And on the steering wheel, on the left, I have a down button, which is interesting. So I sort of get paddle shifters. On the back is for my upshift, which is a more traditional feeling paddle shifter. But on the front, I get these down buttons to downshift. This feels very unnatural. It's very video game-esque as opposed to what we'll talk about later, the actual shifter itself. When you plus minus feels a lot better. On the left, I also have my mute, mode, volume, and skip track. And on the right, I have my cruise control options. So I do actually get a basic cruise control system here in the Miata Club. To the left of me, I just have my traction control off button. That's it, nothing special there. And on the door, I have my power mirrors, power locks, and that is it. I do have a tiny little cup holder on the door. Not really sure why they chose that for the location of one of the cup holders, but hey, it's here in the NC. Moving into the center, I do have some interesting switches. So this is a power retracting top, which is not common for Miatas. Most Miatas either come with a soft top or with the ND, the 2016 and on generation actually does have a power retractable fastback, but not a full power top. This actually has a power top, which I have never dealt with, so let's pull over and play with it. Now, I'm not kidding you. It is snowing outside. You can actually physically see it, but release this. There we go. That's actually pretty quick, especially for a Miata and for a power top. But let's put it back up pretty quick because it is snowing inside my Miata right now, and that's never really typically a good thing. And I forgot to mention, once that closes up there, then there's this big latch up here. Close that, and you're good to go. Just roll up the windows, and you're set. You could do it at a stoplight, which is really, really nice. It's very, very quick for a power top. Love that. Down below the power top options, I do have a very standard radio. I don't get any form of screen. This is just a little small readout, and that is it. I do have AM and FM Sirius, if you'd like to hook that up, CD and aux, and then I have my climate controls down below that. Again, very basic here in the Miata, where to send it, how hot or cold you want it, and the fan speed. That is it. And then I do have my aux in, as well as a 12-volt cigarette lighter / outlet. And then I come to the shifter itself. Very plain and simple. It's a mid-20-teens shifter. It's not that crazy or good. However, like I said, something that I really like is when you plus or minus, it moves with the momentum of the car. Meaning, when I plus, I'm pulling backwards, because that's how my momentum is moving. And then when I'm downshifting, which should be used upon braking, I'm pushing forward, which when you're braking, your momentum is sort of shifting forward. So I really like that. Mazda has always done that, and they still do that in their current models. And it's really, really unnatural when auto manufacturers do it the other way, but Mazda is good at what they do. Then I do have my power window switches down in the center console, and I do have some openable cup holders. So we'll do a big friggin' bottle test here in the NC Miata for the first time, and of course it fails because it is a Miata, but you get cup holders. Miatas of yesteryear that came before the NC, the NA and NB, did not even have any cup holders, or really any substantial cup holders. Then I do have a cubby back behind me for storage, which is nice because, of course, being a small little roadster, storage options are not easy to come by. Now we got to talk about the seats. The seats are cloth. They're fine. They're not super comfortable, but I don't think any Miata has ever had incredibly comfortable seats. However, that being said, they're not uncomfortable. I'm not enjoying it. It's just, it's a Miata. Let's go take a quick look at the trunk, and then we'll talk about the looks. So around the back of the NC Miata, hold the button on the key fob. And there we go. The trunk opening itself is not very large. However, it is pretty deep, especially compared to older Miatas. The NA Miata had the spare tire right here. The NB Miata had a big spare tire right here. So you actually get a lot more space than the older generations, which again makes this car really easy to live with, or at least easy to live with in terms of a Miata. So now we gotta talk about the looks. I really like the look of this. Like I said, this is the facelifted. This is the non-facelift. This is the facelift. You can kind of tell the difference, especially in the headlights. A lot of people say that the headlights of the pre-facelift look like pills, and I think this is just a more attractive NC. I also like the white color, the black wheels, part of the club package. The club badge on the side is really, really nice. And I like the red MX-5 stripe. It's kind of cheesy, kind of gimmicky, but I actually kind of really like it. But now let's get to my final thoughts here on the NC. And I want to get it out there that the NC is the least desirable generation of the MX-5 or Miata. I keep interchanging MX-5 and Miata. It means the same thing. It was least desirable because it is the heaviest Miata there has ever been so far. And also, like I've been saying, I really don't like the fact that this is automatic. I prefer a manual transmission, especially in a sports car like this. But I do think that the MX-5 gets a little bit too much hate. This is honestly a comfortable car. This is the Miata I would most likely want to live with. If I could only own one car and it had to be a Miata in this weird genie world that I've created where I can only own a Miata as my only car, I would want an NC. I think it's the comfiest, I think it's the roomiest, and it has modern enough features like traction control, like the 2-liter, it's pretty fuel efficient, like the aux and CD, and you can spec heated seats in one of these. It's modern enough, it's comfortable enough, and it's a really good crossroads. If I were going to build a track purpose car, would I choose an NC to start off with? No. And so that's why the club trim of this car is a little but I think at the end of the day, the NC deserves a little bit of the light. It's still a Miata. It's still going to be fun. It's still a blast to drive. And I can't really think of any other car model that I would want going down a canyon road. Miatas are always good. Huge thank you to Spencer Shipley for getting me in the seat of this here Miata. This is one of Packey Webb Ford's vehicles. If you are looking to buy this Miata or another vehicle from Packey Webb, please reach out to Spencer Shipley. If you're even looking for a car, please reach out to Spencer Shipley. He's absolutely awesome. He will get you into the right vehicle. He's super helpful, and if you have any questions, comments, or concerns, please contact him with the information up on the screen. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.